Put all the costs that you can on the government. Put all the profits in your pocket. That's the plan. That's the investor plan. Biden comes out swinging against Big Pharma. Gouge prices and we will snatch your patents. Under a 43-year-old law, the feds can revoke drug patents if the company acts against the public interest. Will Biden be the first to try? Please do so. Please, Biden. That would be a huge, good win. You could convince a lot of people to vote for you if you do this. Yeah, do it. This would be great. But why won't he do it? Let's read the story, and then I'll give you my ideas. When Joe Biden was elected president, Medicare was barred from law from negotiating at the prices it paid for the drugs it purchased with taxpayer dollars. That's dumb and only supports gigantic businesses. Let's stop doing that. For a generation, presidential candidates on both parties had pledged to kill the non-interference clause, which was the big pharma extracted from 2003 into George W. Bush to extend Medicare coverage to drugs, Medicare Part D. Last year, Biden finally got rid of the non-interference clause as part of the Inflation Reduction Act. And in October, see, I had even forgotten that, and most people don't know that. Biden did a good thing, and nobody knows it. Why do they suck at messaging? Why do the Democrats always suck at explaining the good things they do? You have an entire political wing on the right that will point out everything that a Democrat has ever done wrong and make up a whole bunch of things that aren't real and say that they did those wrong too. But when they actually do a good thing, the Democrats don't even talk about it. They don't even mention it. They just like, oh yeah, we did the good thing, and they move on. It's weird. It's like they don't comprehend messaging and being in the spotlight. They don't get it. They don't understand it. It's very strange. Negotiations have begun on 10 drugs that represent about 20% of all drugs covered under Medicare Part D. Changing the law to allow Medicare to negotiate drug prices was, as Biden would say, a big fucking deal. Don't talk about it. Don't tell nobody. If you're one of those people who tells pollsters that Biden has done a poor job managing the economy, Medicare price negotiation is one of the better examples that prove you're wrong. Great. Is anyone talking about it? Is anyone on the news mentioning it? No? Well, then no one knows. It's hardline political junkies like me that like read these things and know these things, try to tell people, but it doesn't make any sense that they wouldn't be screaming it from the rooftops. You're bad at running a political party, Democrats. I don't know why you're so bad at it. You literally have people paid to run a damn party, and you suck at it. Biden's administration is in the early stages of curbing excessive drug prices purchased not only by government programs like Medicare, Medicaid, and Obamacare, but also in the private market. See? That's a good thing. This time, Biden doesn't need to pass a law because Congress gave the executive branch the power way back in December 1980. Drug prices, you may have noticed, are going through the roof, even as Consumer Price Index settles down. Drug prices are rising, are doing so at a rate that exceeds CPI on average by 30%. For some drugs, prices exceed the CPI factor of 5. How many of these drugs were developed using federal dollars? Very likely all of them. Exactly. The Food and Drug Administration approved 210 new drugs between 2010 and 2016. NIH funding contributed to research underlying every last one of them. This is why when I talk to capitalists, what they often say to me is, well, yeah, you could, if the government took over the drug manufacturing process or something like that, how would we get new medicine? How would we get new good drugs without R&D? And the companies are doing this R&D. That's why they charge so much. That's why insulin company charges so much for their insulin, so that they can take that profit, one, pay their employees, great, but then they have to buy new equipment and new scientists and new experiments, and then run those experiments and find out if a new drug can be created, and then that takes money. Great, yes it does, but they're not doing that. The government is footing that bill. The government is paying for these things to be developed and eating all the cost, eating all of the R&D work, and then a private company gets all the profit, because capitalism has run amok in our country. We are absolutely overburdened by capitalism and the investors and the investor class. They are running the show, and their plan, these investors, these drug manufacturers, is to make more money with as little work as possible. Put all the costs that you can on the government to put all the profits in your pocket. That's the plan. That's the investor plan. And that would be a good investor. We shouldn't have investors. That's an entire different rant, but let's keep going. I'm okay with the government taking it. I know this is huge government overreach from a conservative point of view, but from my point of view, the government paid to have those things researched. They got researched. Now they're being sold to the public, and the profits all go to the company, not the government, not the people. Public money is used to research a medicine, and then that medicine is sold to the public for private gain. And that is the problem. On Thursday, the Biden administration announced that a review initiated last March by the Department's Health and Human Services concluded that contrary to the rule proposed by the Trump administration but never finalized by the Biden administration, price can be a factor in determining that a drug or other taxpayer-funded intervention is not accessible to the public. Price can be a factor in determining that a drug or other taxpayer-funded invention is not accessible to the public. According to the Politico, the Biden administration isn't targeting any particular drug and isn't expected to so far. The policy seems intended mainly to put drug companies on notice. On notice, great. That if they price drugs derived from federal research too prohibitively, they'll risk the feds finally imposing the punishment Baya and Dole authorized 43 years ago. So, if they raise those prices too high, the government will come in, take your patents back, and I would suggest, and then you can't patent it, and then any company could run the stuff. But I would go a step further. Have the government start making that medicine, and then selling it at cost. Not at a profit, but at cost. I think that the Biden administration could just gigantically change the world if they just set up 2 or 3 insulin-producing factories across the country. One on the East Coast, one on the West Coast, one in the center. 2 in the center. Because you know how much they like their sugar. But my capitalism, I know. But capitalism has failed in this situation because there is no amount of money that you won't pay for your insulin. You can't have a proper market for insulin. If you don't have it, you die. So you pay all your money for it. That's not a market that works. That's not a markets work when you have a choice, whether you want to buy it or whether you don't. That's how markets operate. If I want a new skateboard, I have to determine how much money I have, how much I want the skateboard versus how much I want to pay my rent, things like that. And if I cannot afford the skateboard, I then continue to live as a human being. If you have to make that decision on rent or insulin, guess what? The capitalism has a flaw there. That is a flaw of capitalism. And if we all know that the insulin is the big one because it's been in the news, it's been talked about a lot lately, rather than just saying, hey, we're going to review a certain law and put you on notice, do some action. Take some action. Build the thing. Say, hey, we're breaking ground right here. This new place is going to produce insulin at cost. What are you going to do about it? You know what they do? They drop their prices. That's what they do. That's competition. Are you saying that commodification of human existence is immoral? Yes. Yes, I am. But that's why I'm a filthy, filthy socialist. Because I say things like that. So if Biden had really, if he were a left-leaning person, this is centrism, what we're looking at. We're looking at him using the law to say that he might look at an idea that we will think about in a committee in the future at some undetermined time that would affect your bottom line. Weak, centrist, liberal, be a strong leftist, build a factory for insulin. And then when they drop their prices, brag about it. Tell the people, I ordered this factory to build and produce insulin, and they drop their prices. That is the power that the government could have, but they choose not to. They choose not to because of capitalism. They choose not to because they are worried that people aren't going to fund their campaigns anymore, because the campaigns have become a capitalist nightmare where you have to pay millions and millions of dollars just to get your name out there. But I've been on that topic 1,000 times before. There is another one. Here we go. President Biden announces billions to deliver world-class high-speed rail and launch new passengers to rail corridors across the country. That's how you know he's a leftist. Trains. Investing in America agenda. A key pillar of Bidenomics is delivering world-class infrastructure across the country, expanding access to economic opportunities, blah, blah, blah. $8.2 billion on building trains, high-speed rail projects. This is a good idea. I love the idea. I should put it on screen so that you can see it as well, but I'm terrible at this whole streaming thing. Rails, trains, good thing. Let's go. Come on, Joe Brandon. Let's have some trains. New high-speed rail between California and Nevada. more than 11 million passengers annually. That would be good. 11 million people. They could just take a train. California Central Valley, Virginia, North Carolina, District of Columbia, and upgrading the expanding capacity from Chicago Union Station, Illinois. I think we've got a map down here. There we go. Can we zoom in on that maybe? No? I don't know how to do that. Oh god. Well, that didn't help. But is that Vegas? Vegas to Bakersfield or something like that with 11 million people. That'll be fine. All of this across the south, that would be great too. Yeah, trains would be great. I would appreciate being able to take a train all the way across here rather than a plane. Trains hardly ever fall out of the sky. Again, this is anti-capitalist, because you know what the capitalists want? They want more planes, they want more roads, they want more cars being sold. They want more gigantic 9-foot tall Dodge trucks being sold, and they want them to be bigger than ever, and they want the roads to be bigger, and they want more gasoline to be pumped, and more gasoline to be sold, and more gasoline to be bought, so that they can charge you more and more and more and more for a car every single year. It's insane. Give us some rails, give us some high-speed rail, give us some electric trains, and we can be better off. This is a good thing. So go Joe Branda, but you won't hear about this from the news. No, sir. You won't hear any of this on the news. Probably. What you'll probably just hear about is the poll that says he's going to lose, the horse race. That's all over the polls. That's all over the news. Like, oh, Joe Biden's behind by 2 points in this poll. Joe Biden's behind by 3 points in the state of Wisconsin. Trump's ahead by this much. Trump's behind by this much in Florida. The horse race is all that you really hear about, because it sells and it gets clicks and it gets people to pay attention. Even myself, I see a poll, I see a headline, it's like, yeah, Biden behind by 3 points in Michigan, and I'm like, it's like a whole year. They haven't even begun their campaign yet. Chill out. And then people are panicking and they're freaking out, because that makes the drama, because it feels like it's important. It feels important for Biden to be behind 3 points in Michigan right now. That feels dreadfully important. It's not. They only asked 1,000 people. It's still a year early. And as usual, Trump gets the most attention because he is a clown. He gets the most attention. He eats up all the attention that's in the room, and he gets the most attention because he is a clown. Oh, hi. Thanks for watching all the way to the end of the video. The algorithm loves it when you watch it all the way to the end of the video. If you want to keep the algorithm happy, and I know you do, press the subscribe button, press the thumbs up button, leave a comment, tell me what you're thinking, tell me what you're feeling, and let's all keep that algorithm happy. Thanks. Have a good day.